Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to study a very interesting topic named as Kappa particles and paramecium. Kappa particles, basically what is Kappa particles? It is small tiny particles which is a bacterial residue. We'll understand this thing later in the concept. So now let's start with the topic. What are Kappa particles? Kappa particles, it is basically found in paramecium, and paramecium also species is Aurelia. This Kappa particle is an example of infective heredity. What is infective heredity? Means it is causing infection in the paramecium species. It was discovered by the scientist Sonneborn. It demonstrates nucleo-cytoplasmic inheritance. Okay, what is nucleocytoplasmic inheritance? I have mentioned here both nuclear and cytoplasm exchange their material. Okay, now there are two strains in paramecium aurelia. Basically they are killer strain and the sensitive strain. What is a killer strain, or what makes a particular strain as a killer strain? Two basic factors or condition we can say are required for a strain to be a killer strain, that is dominant gene, and this dominant gene is responsible for forming kappa particles in the cytoplasm, and these kappa particles later on form a toxic substance or a toxin, that is paramecin. What is paramecin? Basically it is a toxic substance that is toxic to sensitive strain, whereas killer strain is resistant to it. Obviously it is produced by killer strain. Obviously it has to be resistant, otherwise it will kill the killer strain itself. And what is sensitive strain? If any one condition, basically kappa particle in the cytoplasm or dominant gene in the nucleus is absent, what I am saying, absent, then it is referred to as a sensitive strain. Hope the topic is clear till here. Now let's discuss and more about what is kappa particle. When the kappa particle were undergone research, it was seen or observed that this kappa particle found is a bacteria, and the name of the bacteria was later found Acidobacter tenuospiralis, which is a gram-negative bacteria and is responsible for producing our body. Now let's see reproduction in paramecium. It is basically done by the method conjugation. Now we'll take two cases. One where we'll have a conjugation between a killer and a sensitive strain. Okay, killer strain, as I told you, dominant gene present inside the nucleus and kappa particles present in the cytoplasm, and opposite to this is the sensitive strain, recessive gene present in here in the nucleus and no kappa particles present in the cytoplasm. And one more important thing you need to notice here, the conjugation here is less than 3 minutes. We'll discuss this concept later about the time that the conjugation undergoes, but now let's discuss. Here nuclear exchange takes place. This has a relevance with the time. Here understand the thing that only nuclear exchange takes place when the time taken is less than 3 minutes. So basically only nuclear exchange has taken place. So when a dominant and a recessive gene undergoes conjugation, obviously it is going to form dominant dominant phenotype only. Okay, so this and this only nuclear exchange has taken place, so kappa particles remain inside the killer strain only and not transferred into the sensitive strain. So next let's go. Obviously now both of them get separated and these form two. Okay, now these undergo autogamy and form X conjugates. Obviously this is a killer strain, it is going to form killer, but it can also form sensitive one. How? Because here only the gene has been transferred into the nucleus but not the kappa particle, so it is responsible for forming the sensitive strain. And here obviously the parent is sensitive, so the offsprings will be sensitive, whether the gene formed is dominant or recessive, or it is the hybrid one. Next, let's move to the next case. Here in this case, killer one, completely killer, cross or conjugates with the sensitive one. Sorry, the kappa particles were missing. Okay, in the killer we have both kappa particles and the dominant gene, and in sensitive we have the recessive gene and kappa particles are missing. But now the important thing we have to notice is the conjugation takes place for more than 3 minutes. I told you time has a very important concept here. Please stay focused for this thing, because the time taken is more than 3 minutes, so both nucleus and cytoplasm exchange takes place, and which is further responsible for killer strain inheritance. Okay, more than 3 minutes, nuclear and cytoplasm both get exchanged. Obviously this forms this conjugate, and then this gets separated, forming these end results. Okay, dominant gene in both of them, kappa particles in both these strains, so hence forming killer strains. Okay, I hope it is clear. Further, the X conjugates formed here are killer in the first case. Okay, and in the second case, kappa particles have been transferred, but the nuclear material, or we can say the gene, is recessive. Okay, small k, hence representing recessive, so it is a sensitive strain. In the second case also same thing happens, killer strain formed, and another X conjugate form is sensitive, because here no kappa particles have been transferred, and also the nuclear material here is recessive. The important factor, I told you time has a very important factor. Now let's discuss. Only factor which decides killer strain to be produced is time for which the conjugation has taken place. Basically time, how we can say time, either it is more than 3 minutes. First we'll discuss less than 3 minutes, sorry. Okay, for less than 3 minutes first we have discussed, and then more than 3 minutes. Okay, so in this case only nuclear exchange takes place, cytoplasm exchange no, cross. Here both nuclear and cytoplasm exchange takes place. Okay, hope it is clear. When it will be more than 3 minutes, both the exchange will take place, but when it is less than 3 minutes, only nuclear exchange. Okay, and in sensitive strain, here we'll see kappa particles have been inherited. In this case we are discussing kappa particles inherited from the parents, but recessive genotype won't be able to maintain it, so it forms the sensitive strain. Hope the topic is clear, and if you like my video, please